Hello everyone, welcome to Sorcerer's Classes. This is Tushar Shaw, and in this video we'll be continuing to solve the GATE 2021 CY paper that we were solving since the last I guess 10 videos. Okay, so more 7 to 8 videos will be required, and then we'll be completing this set. Okay, so let us continue. So in the like in the last video we started the 2 marks MCQ type question, which had minus 2 for minus 2 for 2 by 3 as negative marking. Okay, this question varied from question number 26 to 42, and obviously we had did question number 26 in the last video, so you may go check that out. Okay, so in this from this video onwards we'll be starting to solve the question number 27, and we'll be moving on forward with that. Okay, so yeah, so let us start the discussion. So the question number 27 says that the yellow color of aqua solution of K2CrO4 changes to red orange upon the addition of few drops of HCl. Okay, so the question says that when we take K2CrO4, okay, this is yellow color. Now what we do is we drop a few drops of HCl. Okay, so and a red orange complex is formed. So we are asked to write down the oxidation state of this complex, the central element, obviously the origin of this color, about how this transition from yellow to red orange took place, and third genius is the obviously the yeah. So the what kind of species also formed, so we have to write that down also. So the three things are asked: the name of the species that is formed after addition of HCl, the oxidation state of the species, and the origin of the color. Okay, so first of all, let us deduce. So in presence of acid, oxidation would takes place. Okay, so K2CrO4, not K2, will be writing that directly. CrO4 2 minus on reacting with aqueous HCl produces the dichromate ion. Okay, K, so not K, Cr2O7 2 minus, and obviously this is 2, and some water. So we can balance the reaction. This is the exact redox reaction. We have studied how to balance this kind of reaction in our junior classes. So you may apply this concept and get the answer, but that is not a concern over here. So the first question is answered. We got the dichromate ion. Okay, dichromate ion is formed via the process. The process involved is via acid oxidation. Okay, and so the charge, that is the charge between the in the oxidation state in the central metal ion is so the CrO. Let us calculate it by the normal hit and trial method. Let us consider the charge of each Cr to be a chromium to be x. So 2 into x, oxygen has minus 2 for each oxygen. Okay, so 2 into x minus 7 into 2 is equal to minus 2, or we may say 2x is equal to 14. I'm sorry, not 14, 12. Okay, or x is equal to 6, we may say plus 6. So each of the Cr atoms, so two Cr atoms are there, each of them have plus 6 and plus 6 of oxidation state. So two Cr atoms are there, plus 6 and plus 6 oxidation states are obtained. Okay, now the origin of this color is the charge transfer from the oxygen to the chromium species. Okay, this is a basically informative type question. You must know how this compound is formed and what is the origin of the color from your obviously your notes which you are studying in your college. Okay, so this has no reason whatsoever, no DD transition. Obviously, one thing I would like to mention, that DD transition is not possible over here. Okay, Why? Because Cr6 plus, obviously we know that both the compounds have Cr6 plus oxidation, and Cr6 plus has no is a D0 system, because Cr normally is 4s2 3d4. Okay, if we take out 6 electrons, so all of these are removed, giving us a D0 system, and in a compound which has no d orbital, I'm sorry, no electrons in the d orbital, that compound won't be participating in DD transitions, so as to give the color. Okay, so in this case, charge transfer takes place from oxygen to the chromium species. Okay, so option B here then will be the correct option. Option B says dichromate ion +6 and +6 and charge transfer. So option B would be the correct option. Okay, moving on to next question, that is question number 28. So this question says that the shape of the compounds ClF3, XeOF2, N3 minus, and XeO3, F2 respectively are. Okay, so let us solve them one by one. So we have to use the VSEPR theory. Okay, VSEPR theory to determine three things: the hybridization of the compounds, the geometry, and their corresponding shapes. Okay, so let us look into the first example first. ClF3. Okay, so yeah, so ClF3 has the Cl with being the central metal ion would be having a 7 valency of 7. Okay, so 7 plus all of the both the 3 Fs contribute 3 into 1, which is equal to 10 electrons. Now from the VSEPR theory, I have already drawn the table in my last video where I was solving the this one, the UPSC CS main questions. Okay, so in that so you may go check those video out firstly if you are solving these kind of questions. So in that way you will be getting what kind of hybridization would be. So let me just write down here. It will be easy for you to understand. Okay, so number of valence electrons, uh, uh, hybridization, hybridization, geometry. Okay, so here for the first case, let us firstly write down. So for the first case, let us leaving the first case, let us first complete the table. So 2 sp linear, uh, 4 I'm sorry 3 sp2 trigonal planar, 4 tetrahedral, I'm sorry sp3 tetrahedral. Okay, then 6 I'm sorry let us say 4 only. So dsp2 we have square planar, we have 6, then sp3d we will be having trigonal bipyramidal pyramidal. Okay, then we'll be having 8, which is sp3d2 octahedral, 10. So let us not consider 10 because that is not our concern. So yeah, um, I'm sorry, these are the coordination numbers. Okay, so let me just modify it. So the values these values are correct for the coordination number data, but we are not talking about coordination number. We are talking about the number of valence electrons. Okay, so this would be 10, this would be 8, this would be 8, this would be 6, and this would be 4. Okay, and the last would be with the pointer 14 sp3 d3. We'd be having pentagonal bipyramidal. Okay, Now look at the examples. So the first example that we have discussed, it gives ClF3 has 10 electrons. So these 10 electrons would be having the hybridization sp3d2. Okay, sp3d. Uh, the geometry would be trigonal bipyramidal, that is TBP, and let us draw the structure. So Cl F. Uh, So we have F over here, we have F over here, we have F over here, we have lone pair, and we have lone pair. So this is obviously a T shaped. Okay, so the shape would be T shaped. Okay, so let us look at the next structure, that is XCOF2. Okay, so XC would be having 8 plus O would be considering 0 and F2 would be considering giving 2. Okay, so 10 electrons. So here also we will be getting a TBP structure. So the structure would be XC uh, F F double bond O, two lone pairs. Okay, so here the shape would also be T shaped. Okay, moving on to the next question, that is next ion, that is N3 minus. Okay, so N3 with the pointer, N3 minus. Okay, this one N the one N contributes 5 plus the other two N's contribute 1 and 2. Okay, so yeah, so as I was saying, the central N atom contributes 5 electrons and one negative charge is there. So one electron must be removed. One electron is removed from the valence electrons, giving a total of 4, which contributes to a linear structure, and therefore the structure of N3 minus would be kind of like this. Okay, it is a linear structure, and the other ends do not contribute because they are in the double bond fashion, and we already know that for double bond O or double bond N, there is no contribution of electrons in the valency. Okay, so this one is linear shaped. Okay, the last compound that is given is XCOF O3F2. Okay, XCO3F2. So here also Xc has contribution of 8 electrons. The O do not contribute at all, and the two Fs get contribute to be 2 electrons. So total of 10 electrons is obtained. So for this also we will be getting a TBP type structure, and let me draw the structure for you. So Xc F F double bond O, double bond O, and double bond O. Okay, so a TBP structure is obtained, and the geometry is TBP, but the structure will be the shape will be trigonal bipyramidal as well. Okay, trigonal bipyramidal as well. Okay. So that is all about this question. So we got these two T-shaped structures, one linear and one trigonal bipyramidal structure. So that are given in options A. Okay. So option A here would be the correct option. Okay. Moving on to the next question. That is the last question of this video. Uh, so the option number 20, question number 29 it says. Okay. So, question number 29 says that the metal borides that contain isolated boron atoms are. Okay. So, many metal borides are given. Okay, and we need to find out which of the following contains isolated metal borons. Okay. So basically the thing is, this is a kind of question that IITs normally set up the questions which are like normally solvable, but in those set of questions normally few questions are given in such a manner that the students can't even after having extreme amount of knowledge, they won't be able to solve this question, and this question is a perfect example for that. Okay, why? Because obviously you can see that this is a basically experiment based data, and if you have not studied this exact journal or paper that was published, you may not know the answer as well. Okay, So this question is just given so that the students do not score full marks. Okay, so this is the only key. Now I know the answer because I have studied the journal. Obviously the explanation of this is not required in any stage of your like for your gate exam or any kind of exam. So I'll just tell you the answer. So the options, option A, that is the TC7B3 and RE7B3. B3 is the correct answer. That is option A. Why so? Just a small explanation I would like to give. That is, these are like the borons are normally attached to the metal in the metal borides. The boron atoms are normally attached to the system to the metal ion. When the metal ion is small, that is, it has a like it is when it is being in either it has a low cluster. Okay, either it has a small cluster or it has a small size, that is in the above periods. Okay, small size in above periods. Okay, so in the option B, C, and D, you can see that Cr is bonded with Cr and V is bonded. These are like 3D elements, so in this cases the boron will not be isolated; they will be bonded together. For Ti and V also in the option number C, they also have they are in the 3D the transition period. Okay, so these also would be having the bonded quite strong bonded borons. And in case of TI and fourth option, that is TIB and HFB, you may say that HF is the 4D element, so why it is not happening in this case? So I just pointed out that small size of the cluster. Okay, so here just one HF is there, so the boron could bind easily. But in the option A, you can see that all both of them are from the 4D elements for 4D period, and still they have a very big cluster and also very big size, and therefore the boron cannot bind properly to the metal ions and therefore be isolated from the system. Okay, so yeah, so this is all about the question, and the option A here would be the correct option. Okay, so that is it for this video. I guess we solved quite a big amount of questions, quite huge questions in this video. So we'll be stopping it here. So from next video onwards, we'll be starting from question number 30. Okay, so thank you guys for this video. I'll see you in the next one.